In this video, we are going to cover the basic configuration and functions of the Asset Navigator. The Asset Navigator is an interactive GraphWorx control that displays the tree-like structure of the asset organization. To create an Asset Navigator, select the Controls tab in GraphWorx. Find Asset Navigator and drop one into the display. Select the Configure button from the ribbon, and the configuration pop-up appears. In the General tab, there are three categories: Navigator, Data, and Commanding. The Navigator category includes features regarding the structure and order of the assets in the Navigator. Hover the cursor over the properties for a tooltip explaining the property. Notice the buttons to the right of the properties. The buttons open a context menu with further configuration settings. The Data section defines the refresh rate of the Asset Navigator. The Commanding category is where the user configures the Asset Navigator to receive commands from other controls in the display. The Controls tab also has three categories: Selected Asset, Search, and Grid. The selected asset properties determine how GraphWorx handles the selected asset path in runtime. The Search section configures the searchability of the assets in runtime. The Grid section enables the header and grid lines for the Asset Navigator. The Rules tab is where the user configures styling rules for the Navigator. Press the plus button to create a new rule and select the rule. Notice how there is a condition field. If the condition is true, we can change the background, foreground, and/or icon of the Navigator row. The Columns tab is to configure the columns of the Asset Navigator. The Options properties enable the reordering and resizing of columns in runtime. The Microchart section contains microchart configuration properties. The user adds columns to the Navigator using the Columns section. Notice how we can configure styling rules for the columns. In the Styles tab, we configure the background, foreground, text of our Navigator. The properties are divided into four groups: Style, Navigator Style, Font, and Child Control Style. The Runtime tab has two categories of properties. The first category is Context Menu. In this section, we can add commands to our Asset Navigator context menu. If we want a particular action to occur when an asset is selected, we define the command in the Events section. The Asset Navigator is a powerful display building tool that allows the user to navigate between different displays and fire commands based on certain actions.